4, 3, 2, 1, go. Hey guys, Ro16 here, bringing all the check-off commentary. This is going to be the second set between JangBi and Stats in the round of 16. The innate MSL are going to be facing off against each other on Oddeye. We have Stats at the bottom right-hand corner as the yellow protoss. That means the upper left-hand corner we're going to have JangBi as the teal protoss. And Con players are wearing very funky white, blue, teal suits these days. It's kind of weird. I think it's part of the whole festive season thing. Talking about JangBi and Con, I've been hearing a lot of good stories about the series recently played between Samsung Con and the Woongjing Stars. I haven't watched all the games yet. I am about to do so fairly soon. Just thought I gotta get some of these commentaries out of the way, but haven't watched JangBi's games there either. But I've heard they're damn good, darn impressive. So if you find yourself, hey, I have some free time, go out and check them out. I've heard they're one of the best sets in the Pro League just so far, so go check it out. Now on, just John747, and it's been almost fully casted by Deja Vu, so check him out as well. So let's move on to the actual game here. Good old PvP. Kind of missed this. Not a lot of PvP here because of the lack of protoss. That's, in one case, all right. It's a good thing. We don't really want to have a lot of mirror matchups in the tournament, but at the same time, it's kind of nice. We're going to be able to most likely get rid of most of the mirror matchups in the round of 16 to the round of 8. So if all goes well, we probably will not have a lot of mirror matchups right after that, unless they're TVTs, in which case would be horrible. But we're going to see overall what happens. Last time these two guys faced off against each other ended up with a dual Dark Templar rush, and JangBi just reacting better, winning that way. We're going to see what Stats managed to do. Stats, I really like this guy. It's kind of one of the up-and-coming protosses these days. I could say, he's KT's, at the moment, he's KT's second best protoss, Violet being their best. And he's filling in the holes that I believe Tempest, what the people hoped Tempest and KT hoped Tempest would fill, but instead he's kind of filling his shoes and playing fairly solid StarCraft. I mean, he's not S rank, he's not even really an A-level player, but he's still a solid guy that can bring you the win sometimes when you really need it. That's always necessary, always very good to have a guy like that on your team. Both players just have probes running around all over the place and just getting their tech up at the moment. 7 underscores going up and such. But yeah, JangBi trying to get rid of that probe before it gets rid of that probe just before it manages to get a Manor Pylon in. I think it was actually going for that, but the probe's just not given enough time to do so. We're going to see whether JangBi actually decides to try to get his own Manor Pylon and try to trap a probe inside somewhere. Manor Pylons, of course, so irritating. You know what? He's going to put up his own Zealot on his ramp, and going to move out his probe to put down a pylon where it can spot a drop a little bit better. Both players just getting, I think, their initial Zealots, and their second troop most likely just going to be a Dragoon. Yeah, finally Stats going to have that Dragoon out that's going to be able to pick off that single probe. One more shot on that, and that's most likely going to go down. Okay, 2 more shots. See, I'm wrong. Math, not my strong point. Gonna go for range, and I'm not quite sure we actually put in range. I hope for his sake he put in range. I think he put in just a second after he killed that probe. And meanwhile, Stats right between, takes 2 shots from Zealots, but runs right in between. Gonna run and spot that 7 underscore coming. Gonna spot that 7 underscore spinning. JangBi actually decided to go for 2 Zealots instead of a Zealot into a Goon. Does have his own Goon finally out there. And look, it's a Kakaroo. Probe is going to finally get picked off. But fairly bad there for JangBi to allow that to happen because, definitely Stats, as I thought. He did put that spinning, did make that 7 underscore spin and then cancel it because he's going to go for DTs while JangBi's actually going to go for good old stand. Does have his robotic facility up, and it's going to be very important what he goes for after this. If he goes for Observatory first, which I don't think he will because he spotted the 7 underscore spinning, so he doesn't really know whether he doesn't know that there's a tech switch coming up on him. He doesn't know that he's facing a quick tech switch. Fake out, so many other words. Deception. Yeah, Stats actually meanwhile going to expand alongside, so he's going to get some DDs out there and expand. Hope to hold this off that way. But yeah, of course, JangBi, if he goes for aggression, he's not gonna be able to attack at all if there are DTs facing him. He's gonna be able to put down. Yeah, his Bark's really coming up right now, and just gonna be very important what he goes for after this, because if he does go for the observatory first, he's gonna be able to defend this attack completely. And stats, Dark Templar is just gonna fall against the wave. Oh! Does go for observatory first, so any Dark Templars, if there are indeed Dark Templars going to be coming out for stats, they're going to just fall off against a wall of Dragoon fire. And meanwhile, actually puts up a that's interesting. Stats actually puts down a forge. I'm not sure whether that's the cannon. To get a cannon out there for observatory. Detection purposes, I'm sorry, or to just get those upgrades going. I think he might actually, instead of going for DTs, because I don't see a DT out there. Yeah, finally see a DT out there. I'm not quite sure whether he's actually going to switch up into a more macro. I think he's not really going all in with these DTs. Actually, is going to put 2 photon cannons at his natural expansion, because he might be wary of any sort of tech switches coming in from JangBi, as both players the last game tech switched. We're going to move out with Zone Temple, which is not going to be able to do anything because of that observer out in the field. But he is going to have a much quicker natural expansion coming up, so he's going to have quicker economy. He's probably going to be adding in a lot of gateways alongside. Dark Templar are going to go in, get spotted, and going to get not quite picked off, actually being allowed to run out a little bit. JangBi not wanting to sacrifice his kind of strong defensive position there to do anything. Adding in a gateway alongside a Citadel of a Dune, so he's actually just getting his initial Dragoon. Thought he was actually going for a more standard Reaver strategy, but I think I actually saw his Subnautica score. Yeah, I think he actually finished spinning. I don't think he actually canceled that. But yeah, he's actually does have quite a few Dragoons out in the field. Gonna peter out at one single probe scout. There's still the Dragoon out in the field, but he's actually gonna go for Zilla Dune, go for just a good old standard strategy. Gonna go for Temple Archives alongside. So he's actually most likely going for a ground army. Most likely actually gonna get High Temple out in the field. Stats actually doing the same, adding in a bunch of gateways, and JangBi finally spotting this out with his observer, just running around, getting the spot and everything. Stats, both players playing fairly defensively overall. JangBi just trying to get his own macro up, while Stats has his own macro up. Stats does have a couple of High Templars out in the field, getting his robotics facility out. Third High Templar coming in. He doesn't really have much in the way of troops, but they are going to be hitting him fairly soon. Puts his Subnautica score on spin yet again. And despite that early failed attack, I actually feel, despite JangBi having a few more forces on the ground, I feel Stats' economy is going to be kicking a little bit sooner. He's going to be able to start producing off more gateways a little bit sooner. JangBi, although, meanwhile, does have his own natural expansion kicking in as well. So I think this game might actually come down to who does